Obedience conversation continues. Last time I was encouraging obey God because of your relationship with him. The word of God in Acts 5:29 say obey God rather than man. Obey God rather than man. If I was a people pleaser, I wouldn't obey God. Coming from Galatians chapter 1 verse 10. But today I want to encourage you to obey God out of your love for him. If you love him, obey him. Coming from John 14:23, Jesus replied, anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. Anyone who loves me, Jesus, will obey my teaching. Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. I want to encourage you to obey Christ because you love him. Obey his teachings because you love him. What has his word been teaching you? What have you been seeing in his word? What have you been hearing about in his word? He wants to teach you. He wants to teach me. He wants to teach us to obey his commands, obey his teaching. He's teaching us to love one another. He's teaching us to forgive. He's teaching us to pray for our enemies, pray for those that despitefully use us. He's teaching us to listen more than we talk. He is teaching us. Are we going to allow him to teach us? Are we going to practice his teachings? Are you willing to practice his teachings? He just wants to produce his characters in you and in me. He wants to produce his characters, his characteristics. And how do he do that? By telling us his teachings. And how do we do it? By obeying what he's teaching us. We have to be willing to obey Christ. Obey. He loves us so much. There's so many blessings and promises when we obey. There's so many benefits when we obey. I want to encourage you today, as I encourage myself, to obey. It's not always going to be easy, but it's possible. Be willing to die to yourself and to obey Christ's teachings. Have a wonderful day.